Russia versus the US. How could war begin? The world watches with bated breath. The two titans, the United States and Russia, stand locked in a tense standoff. The stakes? Nothing less than global annihilation. The year is 2024. The echoes of the Cold War have grown louder and more insistent. How close are we to a conflict that could reshape the world? The shadow of history. The rivalry between the United States and Russia is not new. From the ashes of World War II arose two superpowers, each vying for dominance. The Cold War cast a long shadow, one that still lingers today. The collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 offered a glimmer of hope. Yet the hope for a new era of cooperation proved fleeting. Recent years have witnessed a resurgence of tensions. Regional conflicts and a renewed arms race have pushed the two nations further apart. The situation in Ukraine has become a focal point of this escalating rivalry. The world cannot afford to repeat the mistakes of the past. The Ukrainian Tinderbox, Ukraine, a nation caught in the geopolitical crosshairs, has become a tinderbox. The annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014 shattered any illusions of post-Cold War harmony. The conflict in eastern Ukraine, simmering since 2014, further exacerbated tensions. The situation in Ukraine is a dangerous game of brinkmanship, cyber warfare, the new battlefield. The 21st century has witnessed a new dimension to warfare, the cyber realm. The United States and Russia have been engaged in a shadowy cyber conflict for years. The NotPetya cyber attack in 2017, attributed to Russia, caused billions of dollars in damage globally. The threat of cyber warfare adds a dangerous layer of complexity to the US-Russia rivalry. The rules of engagement in cyberspace remain ill-defined, increasing the risk of unintended consequences. The global arms race, a dangerous spiral. Adding fuel to the fire is a renewed global arms race. Both the United States and Russia have been engaged in significant military modernization programs. Russia has been vocal about its development of hypersonic missiles. The arms race is a dangerous spiral, leading to a more volatile and unpredictable world. The Baltic fault line, one of the most volatile flashpoints in the US-Russia rivalry, lies in the Baltic region. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, all NATO members, share borders with Russia. The deployment of NATO troops to the region has heightened tensions with Russia. The Baltics represent a hair-trigger scenario, where a small spark could ignite a major conflict. Miscalculation over the Black Sea. A dangerous game. The Black Sea region has become another potential flashpoint in the US-Russia rivalry. The United States and NATO have increased their naval presence in the Black Sea. This increased military activity in a contested maritime domain increases the risk of misinterpretations. Even a minor incident could quickly escalate into a larger conflict. The escalation trap. From miscalculation to war. The greatest danger is not necessarily a deliberate act of war, but the risk of stumbling into conflict through miscalculations. The concept of an escalation ladder is crucial to understanding how a conflict could spiral out of control. The key to preventing such a catastrophic escalation lies in communication, diplomacy, and a shared understanding of the risks involved. The world is watching, hoping that cooler heads will prevail. American might, a global powerhouse. The United States military stands as a testament to American technological prowess and global reach. Its Navy commands the world's oceans, while its Air Force boasts a fleet of advanced fighter jets and bombers. Beyond its conventional capabilities, the United States possesses a nuclear triad. This alliance, forged during the Cold War, remains a cornerstone of U.S. security policy. The Russian bear, waking from hibernation. Russia has undergone a significant military transformation in recent decades. Under President Putin, Russia has embarked on an ambitious modernization program. Russia's military doctrine emphasizes a combination of conventional and nuclear forces. These weapons are intended to raise the stakes in any conflict, making clear that Russia is willing to use all means necessary to defend its interests. In the annals of human history, there exists a chilling paradox: the possession of unimaginable destructive power as a means to ensure peace. This is the terrifying logic of nuclear deterrence, a concept that has shaped international relations for decades. Yet, the very existence of nuclear weapons, with their capacity to obliterate entire cities and poison the planet for generations, represents an existential threat to humanity. The United States and Russia, inheritors of the Cold War's deadly legacy, possess over 90% of the world's nuclear weapons. These arsenals, though ostensibly maintained for deterrence, represent a terrifying possibility, a sword of Damocles hanging over the world. The use of nuclear weapons, even in a limited conflict, would have catastrophic consequences, unleashing a chain reaction with unimaginable human and environmental costs. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction, or MAD, a chilling acronym that belies its terrifying implications, has long underpinned the nuclear standoff between superpowers. The premise is simple, yet terrifying. Any nuclear attack would trigger a retaliatory strike, ensuring the annihilation of both aggressor and defender. This grim calculus, while preventing large-scale nuclear war, does little to address the risk of accidental or unauthorized use, or the potential for escalation from a conventional conflict. Imagine a world shrouded in darkness, the air thick with radioactive fallout, cities once bustling centers of life reduced to smoldering ruins, millions dead, countless more suffering from radiation sickness, their futures uncertain. This is the nightmare scenario of a nuclear war, a dystopian future that haunts the collective consciousness of humanity. The immediate effects of a nuclear explosion are devastating. A blinding flash, followed by an intense heat wave that vaporizes everything in its path, a shock wave traveling faster than the speed of sound, levels buildings and throws debris for miles, and then the silent killer radiation, silently contaminating everything it touches, poisoning the air, water, and soil. But the horrors of a nuclear war extend far beyond the initial blast. The long-term consequences are equally terrifying. Radioactive fallout carried by wind currents would spread across continents, contaminating crops, water supplies, and entire ecosystems. Cancer rates would skyrocket. The global climate would be disrupted, leading to widespread famine and ecological collapse. The world, as we know it, would cease to exist. As we have explored the chilling potential scenarios of a war between the United States and Russia, one resounding truth echoes louder with each passing moment. This is a path we cannot afford to take. The costs of such a conflict, both in human life and global stability, are simply too high. The very survival of our civilization hangs in the balance. It is not enough to recognize the horrors of war. We must actively choose a different path, one that prioritizes diplomacy, dialogue, and a shared commitment to peace. The world is watching, holding its breath, hoping for a glimmer of reason in a time of heightened tensions. The responsibility lies on the shoulders of leaders, diplomats, and citizens alike to demand a different approach. we must move beyond the rhetoric of fear and aggression, the dangerous language of threats and ultimatums. Now is the time for cool heads to prevail, for voices of reason to rise above the din of saber rattling. The pursuit of peace is not a sign of weakness, but rather the ultimate act of courage. It requires a willingness to engage in difficult conversations, to find common ground amidst seemingly insurmountable differences. It demands a commitment to understanding the perspectives of others, even those we may view as adversaries. The alternative, a descent into the abyss of war, is simply unthinkable.